Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to show you a prepping process that everyone needs to know. This is an old school, old-fashioned way to preserve your meat. In case of a major power outage, whether it's a severe storm that takes out your power, an EMP takes out the power grid, or all these cyber attacks that they're talking about harms the power grid and you're out of power for an extended amount of time. Do you have meat in the freezer? Do you have meat in the refrigerator? How much do you got? If the power goes out, you will have a very small window to preserve all of that meat before it goes bad. Or maybe you're wanting to get a bunch of meat because you've seen the reports of how meat is supposed to skyrocket, out of control, high prices. There's also the talk about how the bird flu right now is expanding and growing all over the nation. So maybe you do want to go out and buy a bunch of chicken, a bunch of beef, buy a whole bunch and have a way to preserve it, locking you in at a lower price before it doubles, triples. No one's gonna wanna spend 3 times the money for a steak. Some experts say that eating meat could become a food for the rich. A lot of it having to do with this crazy growing hyperinflation and all the expected food shortages. Some of it having to do with the major supply chain issues, import and export bans and restrictions. Whatever the reason is, this method does not take all of the fancy tools of, say, a seasoned canner. This is the easy way to preserve your meat with basic kitchen supplies. We wanted to make sure anyone and everyone can get this done. So with that, let's get into this quick and easy way that everyone can can their meat. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is take some spices and mix them together. You don't need to add seasoning, but if you want it to be flavored when it's done, add your favorite seasonings. Then we'll remove all the lids because we need to boil the lids to sanitize them. Okay, so when it comes to that seasoning, if you opt to do some seasoning now instead of later, it's gonna take about a half tablespoon of seasoning per jar, and those are pint-sized jars. Another thing that I might add, you might wanna go get some jars. We've recently had trouble finding jars. We've actually had to go to about 3 places to find some jars. If you guys wanna know what spices we used, I'll leave that down in the description below. Okay, so right here we got a bunch of chicken thighs. We got them on sale before the prices went up. So then you're gonna take whatever meat you chose and start stuffing your jars. Okay, so you're gonna wanna pack your meat in there and have an inch of headroom at the top. Okay, so right now we're boiling those lids to get the lids on. You're gonna boil those lids for 5 minutes. And while your lids are boiling, you wanna take white vinegar and wipe the tops of the jars. Okay, and when you're putting the lids on, be really careful not to touch anything on the bottom. There's canning tools to help you with this, but I'm trying to show you how to do it with no canning tools. Then you just tighten these rims on, good hand tight. You don't have to get them on crazy tight, just good hand tight. Now, if you don't have a pressure cooker like this, all you need is a stock pot or just a large pot. If you guys are like us and are wanting to get super serious about canning and preserving our foods, we'll be doing some stuff with that pressure cooker coming up in upcoming videos. Be sure to tune in, hit that bell, because we're gonna be giving out some serious tips for some serious preppers. You can use simple pots as long as they're big enough to put your jars in and be submerged underwater. In this case, we're gonna use this big stock pot right here. This is a pretty basic stock pot. You do some serious canning with a stock pot like this too. You don't need the pressure cooker. A lot of people will use a tray. It works as a spacer to go in the bottom of the stock pot. It goes in like that. It keeps the glass jars off the bottom of your pot. If you don't have that, you take a towel and place it at the bottom of the pot, just like that. Remember, we're showing you the easy way that everyone can get this done. There are advanced techniques and processes, and I know some of you out there are some serious canners, and if you want to add some tips in the comments below nicely, that would be helpful for everyone. So the next thing you want to do is place all of these in the stock pot, just like so. Then you want to start filling it up with warm water. Okay, so you want to fill this up with warm water an inch above the jars. Now there's two ways to do this. There's the original way or there's the expedited way. The original way is simmering it for 6 hours. The quicker way, which I'm gonna do, is boiling it for 3 hours. When you boil it, you're gonna have to keep a tea kettle close by because you're gonna need to top it off with some hot water every once in a while. So as for now, I'm gonna turn this on medium-high, get that water slowly warming up, get that water slowly boiling. You don't wanna heat these up too fast. Okay, so it's been on medium for about 15 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and turn it up to high now. After 3 hours, you pull them out carefully, put them on a cloth or a drying rack, and it's gonna take a while for them to cool. When they cool, you take the rim off, you write on the top with a permanent marker what it is and the date. You're gonna wanna store these things in a cool, dark area, and they're gonna last up to a year. Another cool tool to use gas in case the power goes out is a little tripod outdoor gas cooker. I have one of these. I use it for lots of different things. I think that they're really good to have for situations like this. And remember, if you're wanting to get serious, that pressure cooker is the way to go. It would cut that scenario down to an hour and 15 minutes, using less gas, unless you're cooking over a fire at that point. Don't forget to hit the notification bell if you're wanting to see us preserve meat with the pressure cooker. Be sure to hit the like button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.